And my friend Raquel called. She said, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, oh, nothing, just, you know, just kind of hanging around. They go to a couple parties or whatever. She was like, why don't you go to a haunted house with me? And I'm like, girl, what kind of haunted house is this? Is it like a haunted house where I ain't got to wear a pad in case I piss on myself? Or is it just a haunted house where we just going to walk through and get a few laughs and run and that's it? She was like, yeah, it's just a haunted house everybody go to. It's a major attraction over in Hari. So I was like, okay, Hari is like 45 minutes away from us. She was like, girl, are you going or what? So I was like, yeah, I'll ride. We'll go. It's Halloween. I'm not doing anything. So I put on my Halloween costume and she's already dressed up. So we're on our way and we're vibing and we're having a good time. And her phone rings. And it's her boyfriend, Josh. And you can hear Josh in the background screaming. He's screaming in the background. I'm like, girl, what's up with him? She was like, oh, nothing. He's upset with me. And I'm like, what did you do now? Because Raquel is known for being like really off the rockers. Like nobody really wanted to hang with her because everybody thought she was crazy because of her family background. But anyway, we're on our way. Josh called. He's upset. I was like, what's going on? She kind of just brushed it off. So we just continued on. And she was like, we'll be there in like 10 minutes. So we started talking. 10 minutes passed and we pull up to this creepy ass driveway. Nobody's in the driveway. It's just her car and that's it. Not even the people who are apparently doing the haunted house. Nobody's car was there. And I see the sign to say, psychic. I said, you told me we was going to a haunted house. How did we end up at the psychic? So she was like, will you please just come in here? I just need to ask her a question. I'm like, what the world? Girl, we are 17 years old. What do you have to ask the psychic? So anyway, she's begging me to go in. And finally, I'm like, okay, I get out the car. We get out the car. We walk up to the door. And I was like, I don't want to go in here. I just wanted to go to the haunted house. She was like, girl, please come in here with me. So as we're debating on if we want to go in or not, I'm looking through the window. And I see this lady who apparently must be the fortune teller or whatever she is. She's at the table. And she's playing around with these stones. And I'm like, okay. So she's moving these stones around and she's kind of looking at them as if she's confused. She's looking at these stones as if she's confused. And then all of a sudden she just throws her hand on her head and get frustrated. And I'm like, I do not want to go in here. Look at the lady who is supposed to be reading your, like she looked like she is not stable. She was like, girl, come on. So we're arguing, trying to decide if I want to go in. So finally we go in and the lady is gone. The lady is not at the table anymore. So I'm looking around and the house is creepy and it's like dust and it's awful. I go into the house and I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my God, like, can we hurry up and leave? So she sits at the table where the lady was and the lady has a small crystal ball. So Raquel picks up the crystal ball and she's like looking at it. And I'm like, put that down. And she was like, no, I wonder what it does. I'm like, Raquel, put her stuff down. You don't know what that does. Like, put it down. You don't know anything about this. You could be touching anything. Put it down. So finally, the lady comes out. She said, can I help you? And Raquel was like, yeah, what does this crystal ball do? And the lady was like, you mean this crystal ball? So she pulled out a bigger crystal ball. Now she pulls out this bigger crystal ball and she's looking at it and telling Raquel what it does. Like if it turns a certain color, then it means something. And she's like, right now it's just like golden yellow. It's enlightenment. And they just sitting there just rolling her hand around the ball. And Raquel was like, well, how does it work? The lady was like, you just really have to take your energy and just roll it around the ball. So the lady is rolling around this ball and the shit just get pitch black. And I was like, okay, like, ma'am, knock it off. I done had enough. Like, knock it off. We get the whole thing. You use your energy to light the ball up. So Raquel was like, be quiet. Like, hush. Let me continue to listen to what she got to say. Because if my energy is what make this light turn a certain color, let me see what kind of energy I bring. So her and the lady started rolling their hand around the ball. And I'm like, oh my freaking goodness. This could not get any more creepier. So they're rolling their hand around the ball. Rolling a hand around the ball, and Raquel is like, this is pretty cool. Like, it hasn't turned the color. And I'm thinking to myself, shit, it ain't gonna turn the color. This is fake. This is not real. This lady is a fucking Hope. Hopes. How do you got hopes? I'm like, she's blowing smoke about ass. Like, just, let's go. So anyway, after they're done playing with the ball, Raquel was like, okay, like, I've seen enough. You've shown me enough. Like, I need to know something. So they're sitting at the table, and the lady was like, well, what do you want to know? She pulls out her phone and she shows a picture of Josh. She say, will I marry him? And the lady was like, let me read your palm. So Raquel is very hesitant about letting the lady read her palm. So Raquel gives her hand. And the lady is going over her hand, explaining to Raquel what each line on her hand means. And Raquel was like, okay, get to the good stuff. So the lady comes to a stop on Raquel's hand, and she goes, I never seen this before. And Raquel is like taken back by what the lady said. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I was going to get mine read, but if you finding shit on people's hand, I don't want you to read my palm. So she pulls her hand back, and the lady pulls out this book. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? You pulling out a book? You supposed to be a fortune teller, a psychic reader, and you pulling out a book because you don't know what's on her hand? And she was like, hush. I never seen this before. I have to look it up in the book. So she looks it up in the book, and she's explaining to Raquel. She was like very hesitant about what she wanted to say to Raquel. So she's not really telling her anything. She just like, this is nothing I've never seen before. And she say, let me see your hand again. So she's telling Raquel that her lifeline and her marriage line and all that is not like in a single line like it would be normally. It's all like going in all these weird direction. And the lady says she's never seen anybody's hand like that. So Raquel is like taken back by it. So the lady's like, okay, let me do something else. Let me pull out the ruined stones or whatever they're called. She's like, let me pull out the stones. So the lady starts pulling out these stones, and she's shaking up in her hand and drop one by one. She tells Raquel, well, this one is not supposed to face up like this one. This one is supposed to face up like this one. And she just starts shaking them, and then she goes, this is giving me the same reading that your hand is giving me. And she goes, let me figure this out. So she pulls out the tarot card. So she flips the tarot card over, and she's telling Raquel what the tarot cards are saying. Her hand is reading the same thing. The stones are reading the same thing. The tarot cards are reading the same thing. And Raquel at this point is like, okay, lady, like, you got to tell me something. You gonna have to tell me what's going on with whatever your reading is. So the lady go back to her book again, and she's flipping through the book. And Raquel is at this point like getting frustrated because she's like, what did I walk into? So finally the lady was like, you know what? I can't help you. I cannot help you. You're going to have to leave now. And me, I'm in this room with these two women, which I am the odd one in the room. And I'm like, I told her not to bring her ass in here talking about reading no fortune. I told her not to come in here because I don't want to know nothing about the future. Like, if I'm gonna die tomorrow, I don't want to know I'm gonna die tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to know that. I don't want to know if I'm gonna get married. I don't want to know any of that. So I told you not to come in here. So the lady was like, you have to leave now. And Raquel reaches in her pocket and pulls out money, and she slid it over to the lady. She was like, I need for you to tell me what the reading is saying now. And the lady was like trying to push the money back, like, no, your money can't save you. And Raquel was like, no, take the money. And the lady finally takes the money, and she gives Raquel this bracelet, and she said, you'll need this now. And Raquel is like in disbelief right now because she don't know exactly what's going on. She don't know what's going on. She's scared. She's panicking. She don't know what is going on. And I'm like, Raquel, the lady said we need to leave now. I don't know if she finna do some kind of magic trick to make some shit happen, but I'm with what the lady said. Let's go. And Raquel was like, no, I'm not leaving. I am not leaving. So she picks up the lady's stones, and she starts throwing them on the table.